In the From Season 3 premiere, the monsters that live in the surrounding woods decide to let all the townspeople's animals loose, prompting viewers to wonder why, exactly, the bloodthirsty creatures would do something so bold. In the past, the show's monsters have been deceitful and manipulative. However, the sharp-clawed lurkers have rarely been so direct in their efforts to mess with Boyd, Harold Perrineau, and the rest of From's cast of characters. The monsters always want to be let into the talisman-protected buildings of the town, but they're more apt to wait for opportune moments to strike. Thanks in large part to the monsters' bold new actions, From Season 3, Episode 1 culminates in a shocking death. After opening the goat and sheep enclosure and leading the cows out of the barn, the monsters recede into the shadows. Eventually, Boyd, who's chatting with Jade, David Alpley, at the sheriff's station, notices the cows wandering down the town's main drag. Since the township's livestock is crucial to their survival, Boyd races into the street to lead the animals to safety. Almost immediately, Jade, Victor, Scott McCord, and Tianchen Elizabeth Moy also put their lives on the line. The monsters freed the animals to force the town's residents outside. The township and colony house are dependent on the livestock since the crops failed. Put simply, the monsters free the animals from their pens to lure the townspeople outside after the sun sets. One of From Season 3's most horrifying and shocking revelations is that there's barely any food left. After a storm ravages much of Donna, Elizabeth Saunders, and Colony House's crops, a group goes to harvest what's left. In a tragic turn, the vegetables that remain are all rotten. Donna tells Boyd that something's wrong with the soil, going so far as to call it poisoned. With the township almost out of food, townspeople raid Tianchen's house for the remaining rations. The monsters seem to know that the townspeople are in this terrifying predicament. While Boyd, Donna, and Tianchen discuss the town's odds of survival now that they're relying pretty exclusively on the livestock, the monsters formulate their own plan. Just as it gets dark, the creatures slink into town, releasing the cows, goats, and sheep from their enclosures. The monsters know that letting the livestock roam the streets is the best way to bait people, especially Boyd, into leaving their talisman-protected homes. At this point, the township's survival hinges on the animals' well-being. The monsters needed to trap Boyd in order to show they can break him. From Season 3's monsters take an unexpected path in the premiere. The decision to release the animals also stems from the monsters' twisted ulterior motive. In the wake of From Season 2's ending, in which Boyd basically dared the creatures, and the supernatural forces that lord over the township, to try and break him, the monsters' resolve to do so has never been stronger. Eager to push Boyd to his limits, the monsters make the food crisis even more stressful. Moreover, they lure Jade, Tianchen, and Victor into the streets, which puts the overprotective Boyd on edge. Perhaps the most disturbing part of From's episode occurs in its final moments. While Jade and Victor usher the goats and sheep into the township's bar, Boyd and Tianchen walk the surviving cow into the barn. Just as Boyd closes the doors and installs the talisman, he realizes the barn was a trap. Several of the monsters were waiting in the shadows. Instead of killing Boyd, they tie him up and force the sheriff to watch as they torture and kill Tianchen. In a shockingly bold and rather direct move, From Season 3 monsters hope to break Boyd.